book of Jeremiah, chapter 51 and verse 9 in the NLT. We would have helped her if we could, but nothing can save her now. Let her go. Abandon her. Return now to your own land, for punishment reaches to the heavens. It is so great it cannot be measured. KJV, we will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country, for a judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. All praises to Yahweh, by Shema Shah, Wahara Kakodash. The honor to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect that's seeking to be the elect of the nation of Israel. They're scattered abroad amongst the heathen. Some look like the heathen. Beginning of the 144,000 preachers, teachers, and prophets. Shalom. Got this video right here, right?
I don't remember the teeth that I was born with because my body has adapted to these babies. Interesting article in the Bible.
Got this video right here, right? 12 hours ago. Globe. Record number of Americans leaving country seeking to renounce citizenship. So people are seeing that America is no longer the home of the free, the land of the brave. They no longer believe in the American dream because they see that's all now a nightmare. And what we're witnessing is prophecy. All right? The downfall of an empire, as we always get, for unrighteous dealings and riches got by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another. And it's being transferred from Esau to Jacob. Where is it? Ecclesiastes 10 and 7. Pride is hateful before God, Yahweh, and man, and by both doeth one commit iniquity, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. The kingdom is translated from one people to another, and that's how this kingdom was built, established, you know. And that's just America, man. Through these Edomites. Unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. So from stealing, from graping, from murdering, deception. You see that? So now we at the end of this place, all right? And these and a lot of Edomites are going to, I think they're going to say Spain and South America, because they think things are going to be better. Well, 2nd Ezra chapter 16. No, let's get 15. Then we'll get 16. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. 5, it reads, Behold, let's start at 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, the Israelites, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, Yahweh, by Shema Shah, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Right? So these words are faithful and true, meaning what? They're coming to pass, and they're going to continue to come to pass. Every last prophecy. Not one jot or one tittle of these prophecies shall in no wise pass away, to all be fulfilled. All right? It says, fear not the imaginations against thee, right? And the prophets, the elect, beginning with the prophets, preachers, and teachers, who are Israelites, are not to fear 2/3 of Israel who don't believe in the scriptures, and are not to fear these heathen. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee, and speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, said the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, I will bring plagues upon the world. You see? So there is no escaping. All right? Yahweh Shema Shai told the nation, hey, the people in America, to flee to your own country. All right? Why? Yahweh Shema Shai will give you a heads up too, because y'all going to be the first ones in slavery. All right? It says the sword, famine, death, and destruction. See, this is upon the whole world. Nothing but chaos. Death. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole world. The whole earth. And the hurtful works are fulfilled. So the whole earth is filled with wickedness because of Esau Edom, the so-called white man, and through America, and through the wine in which they pushed throughout the earth, right? That made all the nations drunken. Now they're mad. Through their wickedness, their philosophies and doctrines and laws and decrees, and that caused the globe to go off and be wicked. All right? So, hey, it don't matter where you go. Though Yahweh Shema Shai tell you go to your own country, right? You still gonna get judged. Right? So, hey, there's no escaping the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shai. Right? You're gonna get touched by the sword, the famine, death, and destruction. Something gonna get you. All right? Now, everyone's not gonna die. All right? Central South America will still be here after World War III. The landmass back east still gonna be here after World War III. The land of Israel gonna be destroyed. America gonna be destroyed. Hey, Canada still gonna be here. You know, and the scriptures don't say anything about destroying Canada, Central or South America, but it talks about destroying the land of the North, which is North America and the land of Israel. All right. So it don't matter where you go, these prophecies are going to hit, are going to get you. You can't run from them. And you get 2 Ezra chapter 16 and 13. I'm sorry, 2 Ezra chapter 16 and verse. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, in 21 it says, behold, victory shall be so good cheat upon the earth, that they should think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evil grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. You see? So upon the earth, things are still increasing. These prophecies are still playing out. All right? So there is no escaping. Right? Remember, this digital system has to be brought forth. This MOTB has to be brought forth. And they're causing all types of calamity to bring that forth. They're justifying what they're about to do. Or should I say what they're doing. And that's the final step to their plan. All right, the MOTB. All right, the MOTB. I think it was another scripture I wanted to get. Yeah. Verse 39. 2 Ezra 16:39. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. You see? So the whole earth is mourning. All right, so you can travel all you want to. You can flee, airplane, boat. You can go to another landmass country. You can stay within the United States and go to another state if you want to. But you're not going to escape these prophecies. All right? You know we got to get that Deuteronomy 30, it's 32. Yep, 39. Throughout the house, my shot. See, now that I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. You see? So no one can escape the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shai. Remember, everyone's going to be judged for the wickedness in which they've done. If I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. And that's the point. Where you can keep reading, it's going to the destruction of America, verse 41 and 42. You see that? So, let's play this video, man. So there's nothing but perplexity. Hey, Got to get that joint. It's perplexity upon the world. Not just America. America just getting it worse. All right? America just getting it worse. Luke 21 and 25. Whatever. Shah. Yahweh shall speaking, there shall be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth. Distress of nations, you see, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts failing them for fear and for look after those things which are coming on the earth. The powers of heaven shall be shaken. So you see, these things are global, man. It's global. Again, Babylon just getting it the worst. All right. Y'all know what the final step is. Revelation 3 and 10. Yahweh shall speaking, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, the elect of Israel. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwelleth upon the earth. That dwell upon the earth. So you can't escape. I mean, you go wherever you want to, you know. Yahweh Shema Shah said you're going to do it. All right? You just going to be the first ones going to slavery. That's it. Yahweh Shema Shah just putting the spirit on y'all to go back east and send to South America so you can be preserved for slavery. That's all it is. Again, globe. Record number of Americans leaving countries seeking to renounce citizenship.
Interesting article in the Boston Globe. New analysis shows that the number of Americans moving abroad is quickly accelerating. According to the Pew Research Center, an estimated 180,000 U.S. citizens emigrated in 2025. That's the largest migration of U.S. citizens in decades. Boston Globe travel writer and columnist Chris Muther just wrote about this recently, and he joins us via Zoom. Chris, good morning. Thanks so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning. So before we get into why so many Americans are leaving right now, can you explain how you track numbers like this?
It's interesting because it's a bit of a jigsaw puzzle to figure out how many people are leaving the U.S. The U.S. doesn't keep track of this. So the only way we can officially keep track is through people who renounce their citizenship to the U.S. And those numbers aren't huge, although they've been going up steadily. So it's that, but most of it comes from other countries who do track the number of U.S. citizens who are living there, along with folks who, research institutes who reach out and they find Americans and where they are.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's not like there's an office where you can go and say, I renounce my citizenship. It's like Michael Scott announcing his bankruptcy, right? Like there's nobody to really hear that. But what are in the research, what are some of the main reasons for this trend recently?
Politics tends to be a big driver of this. And since 2017, that's been a big number. And it's continued. It grows more and more every year. But it's not just politics. A lot of it has to do with cost of living. A lot of it has to do with healthcare, education. A lot of these things are less expensive in other countries. So, for instance, for people who are retiring, it's ideal in some ways because healthcare is cheaper.
Well, and it is interesting. Countries like Italy, I know, have been trying to attract Italian Americans to come back, right, and buy properties there. So other countries are creating these attractive deals.
They are, and one of the things that these countries have been doing is running investment programs. So, for instance, if I want to move to Portugal, if I invest $150,000 into the country and then buy property, live there a certain number of years, I can gain second citizenship. A lot of European countries have been doing that. Also, a lot of Latin American countries.
Very interesting. What statistic surprised you the most when you were looking into all of this?
I'd say just the pure number of U.S. citizens who live outside of the U.S. And again, these are citizens, so they might have a digital nomad residency. They might have second residency that they've obtained through Ancestry or through these investment programs I was talking about. But, the sheer number, 8 million Americans living outside of the U.S., I had no idea that there were that many people living outside, like residents living outside the country.
Right. And 180,000 emigrated in 2025. Those are big numbers. And what are the top countries where Americans are emigrating to?
Again, a lot of those European countries, Spain has been so popular that they had to shut down what they call a golden visa program. Those places, where you can purchase, where you can invest, because there's just so many Americans trying to move there, so they had to shut it down. Mexico, for instance, has at least 1.5 million residents living there, so they're sort of scattered. Again, Europe tends to be a hot spot for folks, but South America is another big one. Essentially, places where, again, you look at healthcare, you look at education, and those are the places that are really drawing people. Also, warm weather. We all like warm weather.
Yeah, the south of France does sound good in all this rain this month. Well, that is so fascinating. Boston Globe travel writer, columnist Christopher Muther. Chris, thanks so much for taking the time.
Pleasure. Thank you.
So you see, people are burnt out from America, man. Them lies. And what's that? I always forget that scripture. Got another video too. Not the one in Jeremiah. I always get them confused. Fathers haven't heard the lies. It's the one in Ecclesiastes, the one I want. Let me pause it. You know what? Let me play this other video real quick. Hopefully I'll find it by the time that video over with. Let's get that joint right here. And this is why people leaving. As you heard them state, the hardships. Alright, that's why I want to get this scripture real quick. Well, let's play this.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to grab a true 16-terabyte ultra-large capacity. For right now, we're going to turn back.
And when they said people leaving because of politics, meaning their lives, they're tired of being lied to. Alright? So this video right here is inflation is getting worse and Americans are feeling the impact. Ain't going into, man, that perplexity, man. Well, let's play this. Hopefully I find the scripture before this video over with.
Back to the U.S. and news on the economy. That troubling news about inflation. Wholesale prices seeing their highest annual increase in more than 3 years. Jolene Kent has these details.
Nationwide, inflation is getting worse, and shoppers are feeling it.
Life's tough, and you just got to make the best of it.
New economic data show that prices for wholesale products jumped 6% last month compared to a year ago. That's the fastest spike since December 2022. Driving the increase, gas prices surging 15.6%. In Florida, Markeisha Mack can't escape it, filling up twice a week.
I'm not asking for $1 million. I just want to be able to take care of what I need to take care of.
Do you think you're going to have to raise prices?
Absolutely, but we're going to do it carefully.
In Burbank, California, Alan Arzoyan has owned Handy Market for over 50 years.
We can't be competitive. Our wholesale prices have increased so much, and people lose that extra spendable income. I guess we'll all be ordering from Amazon.
What do you think grocery prices are going to look like in the next 6 months?
Well, if they continue like they have in the last 3 months, you're looking at inflation of a minimum of 0.5% per month. It could go up another 4%, and then you're looking at rates of what we had during Biden.
When I asked Alan here at Handy Market how he'd sum up the economy in one word, he said difficult, because restocking his shelves, he's paying those higher wholesale prices while his customers are cutting back. This as inflation is going up faster than average hourly wages for workers. Tony?
Jolene, thank you very much.
I want to go out and watch these great.
So there you have it. I want to watch this too. But hold on, let's get the scripture. Ecclesiastes 41. the children complain of an ungodly father. And that's these Edomites are just going to them politics. That's why they flee, because of politics. They're being lied to, man. Alright? And the truth coming out about their history and who they really are. These people are ashamed. So they're tired of all of this. They can't deal with the pressure. Hey, y'all, when what they say, it's all fun until the rabbit got the gun. See, you so used to having the gun. In other words, you so used to having power and authority. Now that the hunter, now that the prey, now that the hunter has been hunted by the prey. In other words, it's a role reversal, man. All right. Hey, you know the Edomites act real tough, right? But real quick, they always begging and crying when they got when the spotlight on them, when their wrongdoings are being pointed out. And you see these videos with these Edomites, so-called white people, crash out because what they're doing don't work. Their lies and deception don't work, and they start crashing out and acting out, especially the Edomite women. And that's another trait, characteristic of you being Edomites. Genesis 4 real quick. Because your forefather Cain did the same thing. Esau did the same thing. Cain and Esau the same spirit. All right, and when you get right here, when Cain, how about Shema Shah told Cain he was a damn lie, he killed his brother. Genesis chapter 4 and 8, it says, and Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And the Lord Yahweh Shema said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Lying, am I my brother's keeper? Getting smart. And he said, Esau a smart aleck, man. And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cried unto me from the ground. So Yahweh Shema Shah said, I already know. But you will lie to me, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be on the earth. And Cain said unto the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah, my punishment is greater than I can bear. So Cain was crying and whining, man. He was crying and whining. He said, how about Shema Shah? I can't deal with that. No, he started spazzing out. Like you see the Edomites do when they get caught in the trap, man. That deception and lies don't work. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that foundeth me shall slay me. You see that? Hey, that's Esau start begging for mercy, crying, man, it's too much. I can't even deal. Well, that's what you Edomites doing now. Let's get another one with Esau. That was Cain. But let's get your Esau. Genesis 25 to 27. Around 40 or something verse. Let's get that joint. When he gave up the birthright, he started crying then. Genesis 27. And let's start at 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him thy Lord. So Isaac, who was our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, blessed Jacob, which the blessing was ours anyway. And Esau started crying. And Esau said, so what if I gave away my birthright? I was hungry. When you read up. All right, when you read up into the chapter. See, you Edomites don't like accountability. All right? And that's the same thing that's going on now. You do not, man, let's get it. Let's get it. Genesis 27 And I want to get that part first. Let me see. My fault, y'all. These signs. Right. Yeah. Genesis 25 and 31. Let's start at 29. And Jacob saw pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. So Esau was tired, hungry. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom, meaning red. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. You see, so Esau, they forget about that part. See, that's what they do. They make decisions and don't think about the consequences. Then when they got to deal with the consequences, oh, it's too much for me. It's too much. I'm sorry, no. Help, no. I can't deal with it. Where? Excuse me. That's what they do. And that's what they're doing now. Let's get this, then we'll get the Ecclesiastes 41, Father, I was real. It says, let's start at, we'll just start at 32. And Isaac his father said unto him who walked out, and he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? Where is he that has taken venison and brought it me? And have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yeah, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry, and said unto his father, bless me, even me also, my father. So you see, let's read verse 34 again. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry. You see, that's what you Edomites do. And said unto his father, bless me, even me also, my father. You gotta add some emotion to it. There ain't no acting. And he said, thy brother came with subtlety and has taken away thy blessing. And he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me. These 2 times he took away my birthright. No accountability. You sold your birthright because you were hungry. You said, what was the point of your birthright? Because you at the point of, to the point where you about to faint, feel like you're going to die. And behold, now he has taken away my blessing. And he said, hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? You see that? So Esau was whining and crying, man. And that's what the Edomites doing now. But they always do, whine and cry, complain. All right? Now you got to deal with the consequences. Ecclesiastes 41 and 5. And it reads, the children of sinners are abominable children, and they that are conversant in the dwelling of the ungodly. The inheritance of sinners' children shall perish, and their posterity shall have a perpetual reproach. Prosperity going into your offspring shall have a perpetual reproach. That's the shame. The children will complain of an ungodly father, because they shall be reproached for his sake. You see that? Woe be unto you, ungodly men, which have forsaken the law of the Most High God, Yahweh Shema Shai. For if ye increase, it shall be to your destruction. And if ye be born, ye shall be born to a curse. And if ye die, a curse shall be your portion. You see that? All that are of the earth shall turn to the earth again. So the ungodly shall go from a curse to destruction. You see that? So, hey. Hey, verse 11, the mourning of men is about the bodies, but an ill name of sinners shall be blotted out. You see that? So that's what you Edomites do, man. And that's your fate. All right? So, hey, what the hell? Goddamn horse ass. What that video? Yeah, okay, I wanted to check this joint out. So, hey, you see, hey, what's going on, man? Hey, these people fleeing America, man. All right? They fleeing. All right? But I'm going to pause this, man. Matter of fact.
I want to go out and watch these great.
Let's see. It says, Trump's disturbing conversation with little girl sparks row. Blasted for asking her favorite sport. Man, let me pause and see what I don't want to waste time. Yeah, that video wasn't about nothing, man. Clickbait. But this video right here, it says Trump accuses journalists of treason after reporting reveals Iran retains major missile stockpiles. So what does that mean, y'all? Trump was lying. We tell y'all all they do is lie. They said they obliterated everything. Lying. Iran still got their heat, man. You know? So, hey, Trump accused journalists of treason. And, you know, I like going into that, man, because that's what they can do to us. Label us as treasonous, man. Our enemies of the state for doing what? Talking against what they got going on. All right? For speaking against their narrative. In Isaiah 29, they make a man offender for a word, even when the needy speaketh right. Isaiah chapter 29 and verse. I'm overlooking it. Let me see. I'm overlooking it, y'all. Or the 28. Make a man offender for a word. Isaiah 29:21. Excuse me. Psalms. Verse 20. Isaiah 29:20. For the terrible one is brought to naught, this Esau, and the scorn is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. And that's what's happening. That's what's going to happen to Esau in America. But while they're falling, what's happening? Or what did he do before he fell? While he was falling, then eventually he fell? That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turneth aside the just for a thing or not. You see that? So hey, they're going to label those who speak against their narrative, their propaganda, treasonous. So I'm going to just play the video. I'm going to just, 9 minutes? I'm just let it ride. That's a minute. So we're in the time of the anger of the Babylonians, and they fleeing, and the anger and the wrath of the cruel Lord, which is Esau. As a matter of fact, real quick, news break. Let's get that joint real quick. Check this out real quick. Trump don't care about nobody. We told y'all that. By way of the Holy Spirit. You know, you see MAGA turned against him. MAGA see that he full of. But this one day ago, it says Trump calls the Strait for moves closure genius because Texas oil is selling overseas. Americans are paying $4.50 a gallon to fund it. You see that? So that's an insult. Americans are paying $4.50 a gallon to fund it. And he said he could care less about American suffering. You know, so hey, at the time of the end, man. Let me see. Check this out. Trump administration freezes new Medicare enrollments for hospice and home health agencies. Hey, that's that wisdom of Solomon too. They care not for the age or the gray hairs. You know, for what use of that? So hey, They want them to die off. You got no respect for the elders. You're supposed to respect your elders, man. It says Iran says it's ready to teach a lesson if U.S. launches new attacks. We hit these the other day. So let's go ahead and play this video, man. That's gonna be it. I don't think we got nothing else. I don't think we got nothing else. Let's see. Yeah, let's just play this joint right here. Here it is.
The objective.
Let's turn the thing to the side. All right.
The objective of this mission is the destruction of their ballistic missile capabilities and of their naval capabilities.
Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock in New York.
So, you know, with them labeling people as treasonous, that's prison time and or fine or death. All right.
That happened moments before we came on the air, or while we were on the air. We took it live, and we largely viewed Marco Rubio as the most trustworthy messenger in that moment about why we were in Iran. Not everybody said the same thing, but that's what Marco Rubio said back in March. Marco Rubio, of course, is Donald Trump's Secretary of State. He's also his national security advisor, and he could not have been more clear in his public statements. Quote, the objective of this mission, the war in Iran, is the destruction of Iran's ballistic missile capabilities, end quote. Well, now, as Donald Trump ramps up his attacks on the free press, on journalists and journalism, accusing them of, quote, virtual treason, it's a quote from Donald Trump, for reporting on the war, yet another one of his stated reasons for starting this deeply unpopular war of choice with Iran officially bites the dust, is no more. Brand new reporting from multiple outlets reveals that Iran's military is far from crippled. After weeks of war, the deaths of 13 U.S. service members, U.S. bases across the Middle East rendered, quote, all but uninhabitable. According to the New York Times, not to mention a devastating blow to U.S. prestige and standing around the world, U.S. intelligence shows that barely a dent has been made in the Iranian regime's capacity to wage war. A U.S. official with knowledge of recent intelligence assessments confirms reporting first released by the New York Times, then the Washington Post to our colleague David Rode, that, quote, about 70% of Iran's mobile missile launchers remain viable throughout the country. Iran has also retained roughly 70% of its pre-war missile stockpile, which is believed to be comprised of long-range ballistic and short-range cruise missiles. The recent intelligence reports found Iran has restored access to 30 of the 33 missile sites it controls along the Strait of Hormuz, which could be used to target American warships and oil tankers transiting the strategic waterway. These findings directly contradict what Donald Trump and his cabinet have been saying for weeks now.
Their missiles are mostly decimated. They have probably 18-19%, but not a lot by comparison to what they had.
Their missile launching capability has been substantially degraded.
Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed. They have some missiles, but not very many. I think we're in very good shape.
The ceasefire itself looking fragile, Donald Trump himself saying that it is, quote, on life support. The potential remains for a renewed combat phase in this conflict in which the U.S. military is now in a tough spot. New York Times reports this, quote, the U.S. military has already depleted its stocks of many critical munitions, yet the intelligence suggests that Iran retains considerable military capability, including around the vital Strait of Hormuz. If Trump ordered commanders to launch more strikes or take out or diminish those Iranian capabilities, then the U.S. military would have to dig even deeper into stocks of critical munitions, end quote. U.S. intelligence undercutting one of Donald Trump's goals for the war with Iran is where we start the hour. Retired U.S. Army Brigadier General Steve Anderson is back with us With me here at the table, senior national security reporter David Rode. Also joining us, Paul Rykoff. He's the host of the Independent Americans podcast and the founder and CEO of Independent Veterans of America. David, just take me through the reporting. I mean, this story exploded about 22 hours ago, first in the New York Times. You've corroborated this reporting and added some context of your own. Just take me through the actual reporting.
This is fantastic journalism. I first want to say this is our job as journalists, is to is our government waging war properly? Are the 50,000 service members risking their lives being served by their leadership? So it was the Washington Post first last week that came out with a 70% of the stockpile of Iran's missile stockpile surviving. That was a surprising number. There were early reports of 30% of it being buried, 30% of it being destroyed.
And the number Trump was using was 18 to 19%.
Yes.
So the Washington Post revelation about 70% seems to stir up reporting about how that's possible, and it's that they shuttered some of the...
Exactly.
Okay, explain that.
So there was a great thing that your team has done a great job. That the issue was that the U.S. only had a certain number of these very expensive bunker buster bombs that would go in, hit the underground storage facilities, and destroy everything inside them. And instead, they used smaller bombs to just seal those underground storage areas. The Iranians apparently, through the ceasefire, have gone in, dug into those storage areas and pulled out now, and we thought it'd be 60%, it's 70% of their missile stockpile. That's shocking. The mobile launchers, these are trucks that move around with the long-range ballistic missiles. That's a big threat to Israel. It's stunning that 70% of those have survived. They must have hid them. And then what you mentioned, the Strait of Hormuz, is amazing. They built 33 of these specialized sites where they could fire on ships into the strait, whether it was U.S. Navy vessels or tankers. They've restored, again, I think they dug them out, 31 of the 33. It's an amazing setback for the U.S. war in Iran.
And militarily, it doesn't suggest that the U.S. military failed. It really speaks more to Iran's preparation for our assault.
It's a strategy failure by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and by the president. It's, again, this belief that air war alone can allow us to win this war, and it can't. And all these expensive bombs and weapon systems aren't enough to, deal with the fact that you don't have troops on the ground. You don't control the ground, so they're going to go back into these facilities and get these weapons. You can't, and I don't want a ground war, but you can't wage war on the cheap. You can't just do it from the air with cruise missiles. You need to threaten your enemy with forces on the ground. And, Paul can speak about this more, but the lesson here is that, just dropping bombs doesn't win wars.
Let me ask you one more question about the journalism, because it has been met with all the journalism about the war in Iran, which Donald Trump seems to be blaming for the low approval ratings for the war itself. Donald Trump put a sticky note that read treason on top of a stack of news clips.
So, again, Paul, I want Paul and the military experts to speak, but look, during the Vietnam War, the press was attacked because they didn't buy the line that the U.S. was going to bomb the Viet Cong back into the Stone Ages. That didn't work. 50,000 Americans died. I spent a lot of time in Afghanistan. Paul and others have spent a lot of time in Iraq and Afghanistan as well. And we had complete air superiority in Afghanistan for 20 years. So, again, this strategy of relying on air power and our amazing weaponry is just wrong, and it's a mistake, and it's soldiers that are paying the price for it.
Your thoughts?
Truth is always the first casualty of war, and we're in a really difficult and unique and dangerous situation where we can't trust the Iranian regime and we can't trust the Trump regime. So we're trying to parse through the middle of that and find out what the facts are on the ground. We're also not hearing from the Iranians for the most part, at least the Iranian people. So I think we're in a really, really challenging situation where we need the president to prove it. And keep in mind, this is his second shot at this. He had the shot before, and now he's taken a shot again, and it looks like he's missed or he's failed to complete one of his many, at least 4 objectives. If they're going to take out the nuke threat, then they've got to answer, where's the enriched uranium? Where are the threats? And if they can't show us, we can't believe them. And that's where we are now. So we're stuck in this place where he's trying to negotiate with China, who is ultimately the big winner this week, right? They're just happy to sit there and watch us punch ourselves out, put 40% of our Navy in the Gulf, have 50,000 troops tied up. And now we're hearing that the Army has to cut training because of their overcommitment to Iran and to the border. This is how we get overextended. And there's no clear off-ramp here. And unless we send boots on the ground, it doesn't look like we will be able to secure these missile sites, which is why no president has done this before. So now we're seeing the limitations of his strategy, the limitations of our isolation, and the dangerous overflow that can happen for the rest of the world. Because ultimately, the barometer here is the strait open. They don't need to have full capacity. They just need to have enough to make going through the strait dangerous, and that puts them into control to have a chokehold over the world's gas station.
So you see, this place is finished, man. It's done. All right, it's done. And you know, Trump always lied, and no one's feeding into it. That's why people leave him. And politics, and you know, as we brought up, the stress and the struggles, man. So you know, Trump don't like to be questioned. He want people to. He don't like for nobody to question his narrative. So hey, what he say goes. That's his mindset. And the treason, hey, they label you as treasonist. It's over for you. We already know they label us as treasonous, but ain't shit. It is what it is. We already knew it was coming. Stay pretty, how about you, Shalom.